What's up, guys? This is Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be breaking down 5 tips for quarterbacks to win a position battle. Let's get started. Now, before we get into this video, fellas, if you are a quarterback and would like 500 plus videos on how you can read defenses, check out that very first link in the description below where you can get access to all of that content. We break down the exact plays that are going to beat each specific defensive coverage, how to identify coverages, the weaknesses of all those coverages, the work. So it's 500 plus videos, all broken down for you and labeled in specific categories, so it's not a ton of information and you're confused. So if you want some more information on that, fellas, how you can get access, again, check out that very first link in the description below. Let's get back to this video. All right, fellas, so this is the time of year where a lot of quarterbacks are in quarterback competitions, whether you're a sophomore trying to start over a junior, whether you're 2 juniors, same class, trying to start together, whatever it is, but we're coming up into summer workouts where you're going to be competing for a starting job. So what can you do to separate yourself from the competition? So we're going to lay out the exact things that have helped me in the past and have helped a lot of the quarterbacks that I work with in the past. So first thing that you got to do is you got to develop chemistry with your team, and you have to set yourself apart from everybody else in the quarterback room as the leader of the team. So what does that exactly mean? So that means that, like, if there's a chance where you can go work out with wide receivers, that's what you should go do. If there's a chance where you can get together like a player run practice where you get the whole offense out there, you're going over plays, no coaches involved, that's what you should do. Because honestly, the team decides who plays in the first place, okay? Like the team decides before the coaching staff does, because the coaching staff wants to pick the best quarterback that the team is going to rally around, right? There's 2 types of leaders, right? There's a leader that'll just kind of be where everybody else is in the room, and then there's a leader who sets the tone, who gets everybody out to workouts, who elevates everybody's on the field's game. And that's the type of leader that you want to be, because that's what a team will rally around. So sometimes that means doing things that you might not want to do. You might not want to go out to the field and throw for 3 hours with your teammates, but you got to do it. You might not want to go to the gym with them because you have other things you could do that'll be more efficient. You got to do it. You might not want to go to like a team function or something like that. You got to do it, because when they look at you, they should see that's the quarterback, that's the leader of the team, and that's how you can separate yourself from the other guys. Now, if you have 2 guys doing the exact same thing, obviously, team might be split. Some guys might roll with this guy, some guys might pick the other guy. But at the end of the day, the other things that we're going to talk about throughout this video is what will help you separate from them. But the first thing is you have to make yourself a clear-cut leader of the team. Organize team workouts, go to team functions, even if they're optional, because that is what's going to make you that leader of the group. All right, guys, so now let's say that you have 2 quarterbacks. They're very similar in skill. They're very similar leaders. They're both good guys. Like, how does one get the job over the other? And I can't tell you how many freaking times that I will get a kid who will come up to me and say, well, coach, I should be playing over this guy. I'm better than him. The coaches won't give me a shot, etc., whatever it is. And then they don't know their plays, right? That's something that so many young quarterbacks struggle with, is actually learning the playbook entirely and having command of the offense. So many guys think it's just about throwing the football. They go out there and then I ask them certain questions like, hey, well, what plays good against this coverage? And then they don't know. Oh, well, what does this coverage mean? And then they don't know. And then it's like, how can a coach have faith in you to lead an offense if you don't even know the plays that you like against specific coverages? Because at the end of the day, the coach calls the play. He might think that there's going to be a coverage out there, but what if the coverage changes? And then it's on you to make the right type of read, make the right type of decision. And if you don't know what to do, they're not going to play you. They have no confidence in you. They will take a guy who has less skill, who has a better football IQ, a better command of the playbook, than a guy who could absolutely rip the ball, but he has no idea what he's doing. I 100% of the time guarantee you that. So you have to know your plays. You have to do the work off the field. Again, that brings you back to the very first clip, doing things that you might not want to do. You might have to write out note cards manually and read them. You might have to write out stuff on the whiteboard. You might have to go over plays hundreds of times so it's engraved in your head. Some of you might be slower learners than other people too. But again, how bad do you actually want it? And are you going to do the things that you don't want to do? Not everything is about what you want to do. Not everything is about what you feel comfortable doing. You're going to have to do things that, to win a competition, when you're competing with somebody, you're going to have to do things that are going to separate you. And that's doing stuff that you don't want to do. So highly recommend. You should know everything, every little detail about that playbook, every single player's responsibility, so they can't have a reason to keep you off the field. All right, guys, so the next thing that I'm going to talk to you about is, some of you may not want to hear this part of a quarterback competition. Now, listen, if you struggle to compete with guys that you go to school with, that you are friends with, you have to get over that, because that's how it's going to be. Like, I tell you this right now, like, When I was in high school, I had a quarterback competition going into my senior year, right? I thought I was the guy, I thought I had everything going, and then they bring in this young freshman kid who we have to compete about. Great dude, really solid guy, could throw the ball very well. And as a quarterback unit, you guys are all very close because nobody on the team knows what a quarterback goes through other than the other quarterbacks. Like, you guys all have the same, it's a weird bond, but it is a bond that you have. And if you struggle competing against guys that you deem are your friends, that are your friends off the field, you got to flush that out of your head, because I'm telling you this right now, like, it's gonna restrict you from taking reps when it's time to take reps. Like, I'm gonna tell you this right now, like, I had a guy who I grew up with, right? Went to like grade school with. I'm talking like from first grade all the way up to 8th grade, knew him, played on baseball teams together, all that. Then we get to high school. I'm younger than him. It's time to compete for a job. You know, he thinks he's got it because he's older. I think I got it because I felt that I was better. And dude, we would get into full blown, like, he would go to snap the ball for 7-on-7. I'd take his ball and I would throw it out of there, then I would go. Like, that's how heavy the competition got. And listen, I'm not saying you have to do that. Probably not the best thing that I've ever done. But you got to get over that. You can't be that guy that's afraid to compete and afraid to go steal reps because the guy's your friend. Guys, you got to have that, like, kind of, everybody talks about, oh, he's got that dog in him. Like, you got to have that dog in you to take reps. Like, honestly, if it's your time to go, take the rep. Do not sit back. Do not be passive. You go steal reps from that guy, and you do not come out of that until the coach pulls you out of it. I remember there were times where I would go on a drive, we'd score, and then I would stay in. I'm not moving until somebody tells me to move, and the coaches would literally have to pull me out to put the other guy in. That's how it should be. You should not be passive. Don't let the other guy take reps. Don't let the other guy steal reps. You need to make sure that you're doing what you need to do to get your reps, get the most opportunities to win a quarterback competition. All right, guys, so the next thing that I want to talk to you about is when you are competing with a quarterback, when you're in practice, when you're throwing routes versus air, you're throwing 1-on-1, 7-on-7, 11-on-11, team, whatever the situation may be, you cannot focus on what he is doing and looking over your shoulder, worried about how is he playing, how is he throwing, because that is going to screw with your head and you're not going to be focused on your own game. How you are successful in football, you guys hear it all the time, like New England Patriots, one of their best, arguably one of the best football franchises ever, right? Most Super Bowls, Tom Brady, Bill Belichick dynasty, right? They had a phrase called do your job. Just worry about your job and do your job. Football is a very team-oriented game, right? There's 11 players on the field that all have to do their job for a team to be successful. Why do you think those guys were so successful? Because everybody knew their freaking job and was so laser focused on their job. Like, so if you're going into a quarterback competition to be successful, you know what your job is. You know the plays that you have to make. You know the reads that you have to make. You know the throws that you have to make. So why not just focus on that? Who cares what the other guy's doing? If you do your job perfectly, you should beat the other guy. That's just fact of the matter how it is. If you do your job perfectly and you do everything correct and you know what a perfect job is, you know what the types of throws, types of reads, types of things you need to do, that's what's going to make you win the competition. Guys, if you're neck and neck with the dude and you feel it's very, very close, you have to laser focus on your job. Focus on how you can put the team in the best position to win possible, and that's that. Now, again, there's a lot of pressure that goes into a quarterback competition. I get it. I've been in many. I've won some. I've lost some. It's at the end of the day, it's just about doing your job and putting the team in the best position to win, because that's what the coaches care about. Coaches care more about winning than anything else. So you have to put the team in the best position to win. All right, guys, so the next thing that I want to talk to you about is what if you lose a quarterback competition. So I know nobody likes to talk about losing. Nobody wants to talk about what if I don't make it? What if I lose? What backup plan? Like, there's a lot of information out there where you don't want to talk about this stuff. And I 100% agree with it. I think you should be so focused on winning that is the only thing that's on your mind. But let's say, for example, you're a sophomore, you're competing with a senior, and the senior gets the nod, right? Maybe it's a little bit of seniority. Maybe you feel there's a little bit of politics. I'm going to tell you this right now. Do not quit. Please do not quit, because there is going to be a time where you have a chance to make something happen if you're doing all the little details right. Things have a weird way, whether you equate that to faith or whether you whatever you think about. There's a weird way of things working themselves out if you're doing the right things. Things aren't just going to magically happen if you just sit back and let them happen. But let's say, for example, they do go with the senior and he's going to be the week 1 starter. You should still every single week prepare like you were going to be the guy. Prepare like you were going to be the starter. Know all the things that the starter has to know, because when you guys do get that opportunity, you should never let it go. And I tell you this right now, I've been in this situation where I've been prepared in that like case where, like, I'm not playing. I go into a game, I'm prepared like the starter. I know I'm probably going to get some play time, and I go out there, rip it, right? And there have been times where I've been, I'm not starting. Why do I need to know that play? Why do I need to know that coverage? I'm not going to prepare like it. I'm not going to play anyways. And I'm telling you right now, it is one of the most terrifying experiences going into a game and not being prepared. And I told myself that will never happen regardless of the situation I'm in. Starter, third string, backup, whatever it is, I will be prepared like the starter, because when you guys take care of those little details, you will eventually get an opportunity to show what you got. And when you do get that opportunity, you got to let it rip. So please do not quit. That quarterback will make a mistake. Football is a very violent game. You don't wish injury on anybody, but sometimes that might happen. At the end of the day, you just need to be able to make big plays. If your pressure on yourself is I need to start because I want to play in college, okay, great. But you don't need who said that you need 10 games of film to be able to get some kind of recruiting attention? You need maybe just a few minutes of big plays. You could do that in 2 games, honest to God. So if that quarterback gets hurt, he starts playing bad, you will get an opportunity. Just please do not quit if you end up losing that job. We don't want to think about losing. We should be super hyper focused on winning, but still at the end of the day, it's a possibility. Just please do not quit. All right, guys, I really want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you have any questions at all, don't hesitate to leave those in the comment section below. We always appreciate the feedback. It's always great to hear from you guys. And again, fellas, if you're a quarterback and you would like to improve your reading defense's ability and your football IQ, check out that very first link in the description below. We'd love to give you access to 500 plus videos on how to read defenses. Again, very first link in that description below. I'll see you guys next time.